بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum fam. As y'all know, I grew up in US in a Western family with Western friends, and before I became a Muslim, I lived the usual non-religious American lifestyle. Now, because of this, I was able to see life as both a non-Muslim and later a Muslim woman. So today I want to share with you what it's really like on both sides and why Islam is so much of a better choice for women. Now, it's funny how in the West there's this idea that Muslim women are so oppressed, forced to wear hijab, have no life and no freedom, how their husbands force them to stay at home, and how they suffer wishing to be out and free. Fam, this point of view cannot be more wrong. But before I go into life as a Muslim, let's talk about what a non-Islamic society expects of a woman. Fact of the matter is this: they want us to raise kids, clean, cook, exercise, take care of the husband, take care of ourselves, maintain a social life, study, look good, and act happy, all while working every day, 40 hours a week, and supporting half the family. Then, when we get to a point that we're stressed and sad, they call us sick and offer us medication. Here, have some happy pills. It's normal to feel like this in the modern world. Pull yourself together, and while you're at it, have some weight loss capsules, because if you want to feel better and be more liked, you need to be skinny and attractive, which until you pay us for products, you are not. Oh, and don't forget, it is then we who decides whether you're likable yet. So make sure to dress in an exposed way. The less clothing, the better, so we get a good look at you and decide your worth. Fam, this sounds like madness, but it is a sad reality. They force women to exhaust themselves, running like a hamster in a wheel, and give up their natural feminine qualities and softness just to survive and keep the family going. Then, when these women have kids and get older, they lose their looks and everything superficial that they used to be valued for. Their husbands leave them for someone younger or cheat on them, and their kids grow up and leave them as well to have their own lives. And here you have an elderly woman who's lonely with a bunch of pets, thinking where she went wrong. Fam, how is this not oppression? Then they have the nerve to tell us that these women are free because they could wear whatever clothes they want to wear from that which they sell to them. This is incredibly sad, and fam, this is not how it's meant to be and not what God made us for. Now, you might say, well, Aya, all this is because no one follows the Bible. If people followed the Bible, things would have been different. My Christian sisters, I love y'all and sincerely wish you only good. This is why I will show you some Bible quotes on treatment of women, so you could see why Bible laws would in fact not make anything better. I mean, people followed it and had witch hunts killing thousands of women. But that aside, let's take a look at this. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. And this is from Timothy 2:11 to 2:14. So, in other words, a woman cannot teach and must learn in silence from men, and that is because according to the Bible, Eve was created after Adam, and also she was the first to be deceived. Fam, there's no such thing in Islam. Eve was not deceived first, and the woman has every right to teach and speak. Saying that women in 2021 must learn from men in silence because of Eve is offensive, demeaning, and absurd. But let's look at another quote. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak. And if they will learn anything, Let them ask their husbands at home. Here again, we have the whole speech suppression, but not only that, this quote isn't speaking to women, it's speaking to men. Let your woman keep silence. As if we're some property that men are taught to tell us when to talk in a place of worship. Last one I want to show you, sisters, is from Deuteronomy 22:28-29. And it says, if a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, and they are found, then the man who lay with her shall give to the father of the young woman 50 silver shekels, and she shall be his wife, because he has violated her. He may not divorce her all days. So the Bible here teaches us that a rapist, if he were to rape a young woman, all he gotta do after is pay her father 50 silver coins and marry her. So the woman's dignity and honor here is worth 50 coins, and she must marry her rapist while he carries no punishment whatsoever. Fam, my point here is to show you that neither the Bible nor modern society cares about women at all. But sisters, there is another way of life out there. By God, Islam has a solution. And while women in America got any rights very recently, and even the right to vote came into effect like in 1920, Islam gave women both rights and protection 1400 years ago. Life for a Muslim woman is very different. First, she isn't expected to work if she doesn't want to. Unlike Muslim men who have a religious responsibility of providing for their wife and their family, so they often don't have the luxury to study or spend time on themselves, a Muslim woman has a choice of whether to go to school or to work or none or both, and there's no shame on her for what she chooses to do. If she does work, whatever she earns is fully hers. She doesn't have a responsibility to spend that money on family or anything else unless she so decides herself. Whereas the man's earnings have to be divided between him, the family expenses, the wife, and the kids. And this is actually why when receiving inheritance, for example, a man would receive a bigger share than a woman as he has 3 times more the financial responsibility. And I say this because some bring it up to show that women aren't treated fair in Islam. But as I just showed you, we're treated more than fair. And this is the reason for the inheritance law. When it comes to modest clothing and hair covering, no one but God and our role models like Mary, the mother of Jesus, or Khadija and Fatima alayhi salam from the family of our Prophet, and desire to resemble believers throughout history is making us do it. Our religion doesn't oppress us, forcing us to cover. We're oppressed by ignorant minds who are forcing us to undress to look normal in the society. Clothing your body and hair isn't going back to caveman mentality. Actually, undressing is. We started out in caves, barely covered, and as we developed and our intellect grew, we began to dress and style ourselves because desire to wear clothes is one of the things that separates us from animals. But now look at us. Our society is rolling back to Flintstone ages. Nakedness somehow became synonymous with freedom, and women being valued for their looks versus their mind and character became normal. By advising believing women to cover, God not only protects women from impure intentions of strangers, but also from being judged by their body, their weight, their hair, and their looks versus who they are as a person and a human being. You see, Islam is all about balance, love, and mutual respect. A woman and the home she builds is meant to be a place of peace and tranquility for her, her husband, and their kids. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us that Paradise lies at the feet of a mother, so there's so much respect and care for women. In Islam, your family cannot just yeet you off to a nursing home once you're old. And if you're pregnant and your husband decides to leave you, like it happens so often in the West, they can't. They have to take care of you while you're pregnant, and if divorce is inevitable, they have to wait until after you deliver to make sure you and the baby are safe. In the West, a woman who stays home is called the housewife. For Muslims, Arabs in particular, there's a similar saying, but she isn't called a housewife, she's called the queen of the house. You feel the difference? God tells us in the Holy Quran, and of his signs is that he created for you from yourselves mates, that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you affection and mercy. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who give thought. Quran chapter 30, verse 21. And in another verse we read, he is the one who created you from a single soul, then from it created its mate, so he may find comfort in her. So you see, God tells us that, first of all, soulmates is a thing, but more importantly, that we, men and women, were created for each other so we could find comfort, affection, and tranquility. And when it comes to women's rights, God tells us, and women shall have rights similar to the rights against them, according to what is equitable. But men have a decree of responsibility over them, and Allah is exalted in power, wise. Quran chapter 2, 28. In other words, men and women have similar rights, but men carry more responsibility as they are meant to be our protectors. As God decreed in chapter 4, verse 34, men are the protectors and maintainers of women, because Allah has given the one more strength than the other, and because they support them from their means. As for gender equality, Allah tells us, whoever does good, whether male or female, and is a believer, we will surely bless them with a good life, and we will certainly reward them according to the best of their deeds. Fam, how different is all this in contrast to what the Bible tells us? When talking to your young daughters about God, love, and equality, honestly, which of these would you rather teach them? In my search for God, I've encountered and learned about different faiths and ways of life, and I had never seen a religion that liberates women as much as Islam, and I have never met people who care about their women as much as Muslims. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.